Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I am doing my article presentation on employee discipline. The article that I found on restaurant.org is called Be a Coach, Not a Cop, and it deals with employee discipline, particularly in the terms of conflicts among your employees and in the workplace in general. It has a few different sections that talk with ways to deal with that, but the part that I want to focus on is the first half, which tells a story about Bill Marvin, who was pulled in to manage the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado. And he talks about how when he got there, the kitchen staff was just in really low morale and tension was running high, people were arguing. Within his first week, he walked into an eruption amongst two people amongst his staff that had blown over so badly that they were actually wielding knives at each other. And I don't know, you hear stories like that and you're like, wow, like, I don't know, your instant reaction is violence can't be in the workplace and you'd have to discipline them pretty severely. But instead of just firing them, he decided to sit down and talk to them and talk to the rest of his staff and see what was going on. And it turned out that the management hadn't really been doing its job very well. There wasn't enough hours, they were overstaffed because it was the slower season, and just people weren't getting enough money to survive on. We talked about in class how outside environment can affect your jobs, and if you're not making enough money and you're struggling with bills, like, it's obviously going to lead to tension that's going to cause problems when you actually show up at work. Just from taking the time to talk to his employees, he decided that the solution would be to cut down on the level of people there. And within the first 3 months, like, there was a complete turnaround. He was able to give them more hours, they were getting decent paychecks. He had to let some people go, and actually it wasn't the people that were fighting, but he goes on in the article to explain that a lot of problems that occur can be fixed by management, and that by talking with employees and finding a real reason behind all of their pent-up frustrations, he was able to fix the root of the problem, as opposed to just firing them and having to rehire new staff and retrain them. And in the way that he went about it, like, he helped to boost the morale and to earn the respect of his employees, which I think is really important. We talk about employee discipline, and certainly there has to be consequences for a person's actions, but it has to be given in a constructive manner, which this article really focuses on, just in terms of really coaching your employees and really taking the time to understand where they're coming from and to help them be better, as opposed to doing it in a way that might discourage them or make them feel like they're just bad employees and they're not doing their jobs right. Definitely employee discipline can be necessary, but I definitely think this article gets it right when they say be a coach. Employees really are an investment when you think about it. You're investing the time, the money, and the energy to train them well, to keep them wanting to do a good job for you. And in order to really do that, I think you have to earn their respect and their loyalty, not necessarily their fear. And a lot of managers have the approach of just, you're coming in late, I'm writing you up, if this is going on file. It kind of gives you just a sense of nervousness. And I think that a lot of people answer those kinds of problems by disciplining in a negative way. I think that even if you're writing up an employee, the way that you go about just talking to them and really seeing, like, what's going on, each situation can be different. And while there has to be definitely a level of certainty when it comes to disciplining and stability, at the same time, I think there has to be understanding that different situations and different things require different ways of going about disciplining. And I think this article really does a good job of talking about that. So I think you all should check it out because it's really good. It's a few years old, but it's all the same. And just to really see, like, what they have to say, because they do a really good job of explaining that conflict isn't always bad, and they talk about ways to minimize negative energy in the workplace, and just to make sure that while you're keeping consequences for important things, that you're also taking the time to really look for ways to coach your employees and to make them do a better job. So that's my presentation, and thanks for listening.